Hi guys, so today is a slightly different format than usual. I'm gonna be doing a review of these shoes, the George Cox Creepers. I'm gonna do a review at the first part of the video, and then the second part it will be a bit more about my own personal experience with platform shoes, why it's a bit more than just shoes really. So if you're just here for the review of the Creepers, it'll be coming up very shortly, and then if you are somebody who watches my channel usually, I hope the second part is maybe a bit more interesting, but it'll probably make a bit more sense if you watch through the first part, but I think it's probably not necessary. So going into the Creepers, I actually wrote stuff down today because I didn't want to ramble too much in the review. So let's start. So today I'm going to review this George Cox Creepers. I'll put in some insert footage of the close-ups of the shoes. So why I'm reviewing it is basically because when I was going to buy these shoes, I couldn't find much reviews online. And so since I have now had these shoes for a year, I thought I'll contribute to the lack of reviews by making one myself. So, like I said, I bought these shoes last year, October 2024. It is now October 2025 as I'm recording this, and I've had these shoes for a year. In terms of ordering, it was relatively fast. From my logs, from my records, it was ordered. I ordered it on 3rd October. It arrived to me in Singapore from the UK on 6th October, which is really pretty fast. I think most of it was really just the time taken for international shipping. So, what these are the Skiptons. They have basically a weave at the front, the loops, and then after that, they are the slightly higher platforms. Also, sorry about the noise. I hope it's not too distracting. So, in terms of the size, I got a size 7. So these are the UK men's size 7. On the website, it says that these are 40.5 cm or 40.5 size, and then 25.3 cm. And their recommendation is for you to size down. So I didn't size down, which my bad, I should have done it. So I don't know if it's super obvious. But when I scooch my feet all the way to the front, you can kind of see that like there is a bit of a gap at the back, right? But like I don't actually walk like this, so I tend to walk with my feet towards the back. So it being oversized is a bit of an issue, but not as bad as if you're somebody who really likes your shoes very tight. So what I've gotten around the bigger size is by lacing it super tight, as tight as I can, and then also wearing thicker socks when I do wear it. So for reference, I do like a roomier fit. Even when I wear Converse, I usually wear a size, men's size 7.5 or 26 cm. And that is slightly larger than my actual feet size because I like a roomier fit in the front of the shoe. So, to the personal bit of stuff, how do I personally find it? So I bought it because I love the leather and I love the way this looks. I like the craftsmanship. I like the weave. The weave is not super obvious from far, but it's nice for me to look at. And I really like the detail of the D-loops, D-hoops, whatever they're called. I do have to say that one of the things that, is probably the reason why there's not a lot of reviews is that these shoes are quite expensive. I paid $520 Sing dollars for it, and when I checked the website to make this video, it has since gone up in price. It's now 625 Sing dollars. So that is a deterrence, but for me, my philosophy has always been, if I like the thing and if I know I will wear it, I'm willing to pay the price, because I would rather pay a bit more for something I like and then to wear it more often because I like it, rather than to pay less for something I don't like and not feel like wearing it. So I've worn it for about a year, and here are some thoughts that I have. I don't think any of these are deal breakers. These are just kind of stuff that, like, you know, you might want to just know before you buy the shoe. Maybe it helps in your consideration, I don't know. So for me, the draw of it is really the details on the shoe. But it's also a relatively simple profile, so it's not like super eye-catching in the way some platforms can be. And for somebody who doesn't like things that are super attention-grabbing, I think this is good. I do have to say, because most of the details, at least the part that to me stands out, is the silver D-shaped hoops. When you do wear long pants that are kind of wide-legged and they cover those details, it does sometimes have the effect of looking like you're wearing just like black clunky shoes, a bit like safety boots from far, which is, you know, depending on how you find it, may not be a look that you want. So I do find that generally, well, it depends. Sometimes I just wear it covering the details and it's fine because I just want a hike for that day. But sometimes when I want to show off the details, I will do this, or I'll wear pants and roll up the cuffs to show off the loops a bit more. So the other thing that is a bit annoying is that the material of the platform is kind of this like soft material, which is good for comfort, but it's a little bit annoying. I don't know if you can see how dirty the bottom of my shoes are. But because they are this like weird soft sticky material, they kind of get stuck on stuff. So I would say this is definitely more of like an urban environment shoe. I have done probably not great things for it by bringing it to the botanical gardens. So I have walked on grass with these shoes. Not a great idea, but you know, it's my shoes. I can do what I want with it. So I have to say, I think the soles, I like that they are soft-ish for comfort. So it's not like some platform shoes where you feel like you're just walking on this huge chunk of like solid material, like there's no give. These are fine, but I think the downside to them being a bit soft is that they're also slightly sticky. I don't know if it's because Singapore is very hot, so the pavement is very hot. But then again, there's global warming, so maybe a lot of places are very hot. So what I would say is, I do find hair... Wait for the plane to pass for a bit. I do find hair, or like sometimes grass or bits of dried foliage stuck on the bottom of my shoes, and I do make an effort to kind of like pull it out of the soles of my shoes so that I can, you know, maintain the shoes. With shoes that are expensive, I do think like part of my own commitment to buying shoes that are expensive is that I know I will put in effort to kind of maintain them. Not necessarily in pristine condition, but like in good enough condition that it looks nice even after wearing. Like there is some nice signs of aging and it molding to you rather than just like neglect. So yeah, I would say the soles are a bit annoying, but I think they're probably meant for more urban environments, so it's also probably my bad for wearing it in not great conditions for the shoe. So the last thing is that the shoe is slightly heavy, which I think it's not a deal breaker if you're somebody who's used to platforms, but I wasn't. So my suggestion would be to start with small trips, because they do get a bit tiring on your feet if you're not used to the weight. But all in all, I want to say I love this pair of shoes. I don't regret buying them, even though they're very expensive. And I think whether it's worth it or not is mainly based on like really like what you get out of it. Do you think you wear it often? Do you think you like it enough that, you know, it makes sense for you? So it does for me and I love it, so that's my review up to there. Alright, so now moving to the second part of the video, I want to talk a bit more about my own personal relationship with platforms and how I feel about them. So I've always had a fascination for platform shoes ever since I was young. I know one of the earliest self-portrait I've drawn of myself with like markers as a child is me with platform shoes. I was like, I don't know, 8 years old. And I mean, it was the Spice Girls kind of era, so I'm not that old, but like those boots were still cool when I was growing up. And then when I was a teenager, I was exposed to people who cosplayed. So a lot of people had or wanted to have platform shoes, and I was one of them. For a period of time, I had this knockoff pair of rocking horse shoes. They had foam soles. So those were quite light, they were quite okay to wear. But because they are the ballerina style, I didn't actually enjoy wearing them. Because I was a tomboy the whole way through my teenage years. I mean, I don't wear skirts nowadays, basically. So back then, yeah, I mean, like, it doesn't really match what I wanted to wear. And I'm not saying that you have to wear things that match exactly, like that can be your style, right? The mismatch. But like, I didn't enjoy wearing the ballerina style of rocking horse shoes and platforms. So I bought that for a cosplay, I wore it for the cosplay, and I've never worn it since. And then I sold it sometime afterwards. Quite a few years afterwards, actually. And then another pair of platform shoes that I bought was something that I bought in Japan when I was like in my early 20s. Because by then I've already sold my rocking horse shoes, but I really wanted to wear platform shoes. And then I decided like, I'm just gonna look for a pair while I'm in Japan. And then what happened was that like, sorry, I just decided to come up to the front to see whether the video is still recording because it's really hot. I don't want my phone to overheat. But anyway, so I bought a pair of shoes and I never wore them out, which is a pity. And it kind of sucks because like, well, they weren't super expensive, but by the time I got around to like looking at them, deciding whether I could sell them, they basically were not stuck to their platforms anymore. So the shoe kind of like, you know, the glue died, all the kind of regular stuff. And it's kind of sad because I never got to wear them out. And it's technically not that I never got to wear them out, it's that I never felt comfortable enough wearing them out. So when the idea of wanting to own a pair of platform shoes again came back when I was in my late 20s, or early 30s, whatever you want to call it, I learned from the fact that I, you know, never really wore the platform shoes that I had. And I really asked myself, like, what would get me to wear platform shoes? Because I wanted to, right? Like, I bought these shoes because I wanted to wear them, but something prevented me from actually being comfortable wearing them out. So I asked myself this, and a few things came to mind, like, you know, the fact that the shoes were more on the feminine side of things, and that didn't really match with what I wanted to wear. And then I think the comfort level, and also the other thing for me was how they looked a bit cheap because they were all like relatively inexpensive. Like the knockoff rocking horse shoes were about 80 Sing dollars. The ones from Japan were about 50 Sing dollars. And it shows in how they look. Like, they're fine, but I like my shoes to be a bit more well made than that. So that was that. And then I knew about creepers from people cosplaying. And also, like, it was a very popular style of shoes for ball jointed dolls when I started in the hobby when I was in my teens. So then I started searching up creepers, and then there's a bunch of different brands. But I was drawn to George Cox because of how well made it looked. And it was expensive, yes, but I figured like if I really wanted it, I can save up for it. And like I said in the earlier part of the review, that part of the part of the commitment I made to myself when I buy expensive stuff is that I will take care of it so that, I'm not wasting my money. Yeah. So that's kind of like my fascination with platform shoes. So I would say I did succeed on that end. I wear this pair of platforms more than I've worn other platforms, like clearly because I barely wore the other ones. But I wear them about, I would say like, I only have a few pairs of shoes. When I go out, I usually wear either my Converse, Chuck 70s, or I wear this. And then the other option for sneakers are my Vans. Yeah, so I only have 3 pairs of going out shoes. So it's just between these 3 pairs. So these do get a fair bit of rotation when I do go out. So something else that I personally enjoy about these shoes is the literal change in perspective. So I think it's linked to my fascination with platform shoes in general, but I never got around to realizing it because I never actually wore it that often in my earlier years. So the thing with these shoes is not just how they look, but how they make me feel, which I guess is kind of obvious, but it took me a while to realize that. So when I put this on, obviously I have a different gait than when I wear sneakers. I walk slightly differently because the shoes are heavier. There is more stuff on the bottom, so like I don't quite walk the same way. So changing the way I walk kind of changes me in a way, right? Like it's small, but you feel the difference. And then of course there's the literal like height. These are like, I don't know, at least 5 cm, maybe 7. So I am taller. I'm seeing from a vantage point of view that is taller than I usually am. And as somebody who is female-bodied and considered relatively tall for people around me, like the average height for women in Singapore is 1.6 meters, and I'm 168. So with these shoes, I'm like taller. I'm already taller than average, and with these shoes, I'm taller than average. So, like, it takes a bit of. I'm gonna stand out, basically, is what I'm saying. Like, if I'm shorter and I wear platform shoes, I probably won't stand out as much. But I'm already tall and I'm wearing platform shoes, so that is, in itself, something that will draw attention, like good or bad. So. What I mean to say is really that, like, I think that has also been one of the things that's always stopped me from wearing platform shoes. The idea that I'm already tall. Do I really want to be taller and, like, take on that attention? But there are some days when I'm actually okay with it. Or there are some days that I don't really care that people are looking at me. So it's fine that I'm getting more stares, whether positive or negative. And then there are some days where I care a lot. And on those days, I will probably just wear my Converse. Like practical things, like if I need to walk a lot, I'm probably wearing my Converse, I'm not wearing these. But if I'm just going out for a bit, and I'm not gonna do a lot of walking, I like how this forced me to have to take a different stance and a different perspective. Sometimes I get stuck in my own head. And like, I mean, I do things like, exercise, move your body, and all of these physical changes change your perspective because the body and the mind are linked together in ways that I don't understand, but I can see its empirical results. But I want to say also, like, not saying this is the reason you should get, like, platform shoes, but, like, sometimes just throwing on this pair of shoes, I don't know, is it because I love it so much, I love the way it looks, the way it feels, but sometimes putting them on in and of itself as an act and going out and having a walk in them, in these shoes, make me feel better. I think maybe partly because I am kind of taking back my own autonomy, being like, I'm gonna wear this no matter what other people think. But also, like, I cannot deny the fact that the literal change in height and posture and gait makes a difference. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm coming to a point where I'm realizing more and more how the things that I personally like, love, enjoy, tell me a lot about myself. Let me look into myself with a different lens than I've had previously. And I feel like these shoes, simple as they are, as material as they are also serving something a little more than just, physical object. As like something nice to look at, which I admit it is. I feel different when I wear this than when I wear other shoes, but like I think it's partly examining why I feel different, or like when I feel different, what is that feeling that I want to have, or what is the difference? Is it preferred in some instance and not preferred in other instances? Like asking myself all these questions are kind of what makes me love the act of wearing platform shoes, of this particular pair, whichever it is, more. So it's as much about the objective shoes as it is just like a feeling, an experience, the physical experience of having worn these shoes on and off for a year before I make this review. So yeah, that's today's video. I'll see you next time.